I'm Will Richards, and this is The Dash, an insight to the success story of people from all walks of life in their chosen field, from your average Joe to people in the limelight. If you're looking to level up, stick with us. This just might help. Ethan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Happy to be in Chelmsford on a Wednesday morning.
Back in Chelsea. He's giving away our location straight away.
Yeah.
But you're welcome.
Sorry, what's the date today? Let's really place this.
It's the 9th of October.
9th of October, 11 a.m,
Yeah.
Chelmsford.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Which is local to you. I didn't realise. We've known of each other for about 4 days.
Yes.
Maybe a week. And
you're about 9 days, maybe a week.
9 days. Lucky us, huh? It's romantic. It's really romantic.
It was a real meet cute.
Yeah, well. It was a complete coincidence. We both.
I was carrying a stack of papers.
Yeah, I helped you pick them up.
I fell over.
I tripped him.
All right, Matt.
Yeah. But I didn't know that a lot of you will know Ethan for lots of work, which we'll get into. But Ethan is an actor that lives in Malden,
Yes.
just up the road.
Yes, Malden's second favourite son.
Yeah, the first being
Sam Ryder.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I had that for a while, but then, yeah. It's not like it's a sore point or anything. It's just that,
Yeah. I'm fucking fuming.
it's just neither of us won Eurovision, so I don't see why.
What's the point?
I don't know. It's fine. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, you can grow your hair as well. If you wanted to.
I could have a big smile and be talented
Yeah.
and successful.
Do you know, he
if I really tried, I could.
Yeah. He drove past me the other day in a McLaren P1.
Nice.
The times have changed.
Yeah, I drove here in a Vauxhall Viva.
I don't even know what that is, but that's great. It's a car. It gives you the A to B.
It was a remake of an old kind of sort of. It was pre-Corsa hatchback, if you can imagine that.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And they sort of brought it back as a kind of sort of special thing.
Yeah.
And I got one because it was small and economical, and because I was delivering pizza at the time, so I just needed a knock around just to.
Does the job, doesn't it?
Yeah, because the old one, my Ford Fiesta,
Yeah.
clutch went on that.
Right.
Problem was, like O2 plate, the clutch that costs more than the
car
like,
itself.
at that point. And,
This is the problem, you know.
and I've got slice to sling. Like
Yeah.
I can't be.
Slice to sling. Right. Okay. which you aren't doing at the moment, but you have done in the past, and we'll get all. There's so much to talk about.
I'm seeding stuff for later.
I know.
This is storytelling 101.
This is incredible. You've created the promo clip in 30 seconds. Thanks. Hashtag Afterlife.
SEO.
Right. Let's delve into some of the things. Right. So you're an actor.
Yeah.
You've been acting since for the last 12 years?
Yeah. 2012, early 2012.
2012. Blimey, it is 12 years as well. I did my research.
Yes.
Spot on.
Yeah.
You're 31?
32 as of a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, happy birthday for a couple of
When
weeks
we
ago.
met,
Yeah.
I was
Birthday
it was
drinks.
the day after my birthday.
Yes.
Day after.
Yeah, I
Yes.
remember now. Which you went down to a local pub to hear and had it off. How did you get on?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Got tanked? Did you drink?
I do drink, but I didn't drink that time because I drove. So
Right, the Viva.
yeah,
Got to look after the Viva.
Got to look after the Viva. So yeah, it was more the birthday lunch.
Yeah.
Like after we done this was a podcast festival.
Yeah, we did a podcast festival.
For those who don't know.
Yeah, and we both did the thing there. Obviously, I did something for the Dash, and you did something for the what's it called?
It's Chew the Fat.
Chew the
Shout out
Fat.
Chew the Fat.
Yeah.
The Whittam-based Wittering podcast.
Great guys.
Great guys. Great.
That's who you went out with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was Lee Hagger in that lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good little podcast festival actually. So it's brand new, isn't it? I heard.
The festival was the first time this year, and they're going to keep coming back. So I'm sure me and you'll be there.
It seemed to go off really well. People seem to really enjoy it.
Really popular.
So that's good.
Well, it's because you were there and me.
Well, I was there day 2.
Yeah.
For like a minute.
Yeah, I was there anyway. I
I was
turned
there
up.
screaming about my kidneys or something. I blacked out. To be honest with you,
I look forward to watching all the clips from it. It's quite an interesting one.
You forget when you're in front of a live crowd. I
Yeah,
black out and then
I say some things that
I wake up afterwards just like, oh no,
Mm.
I'm gonna have to.
There's some
have to
regret
pay
there.
for
I said a joke that I can never repeat in my life. I'll tell you after this podcast.
On the podcast.
I can't do it.
So you can do it live, but
Yeah.
when it's recorded, you won't.
I did it live. The audience groaned, and I went, "I'm so sorry." That was the
Right, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Do you know what? Actually, let's wrap this up.
Right, so let's go through the details. There's something that a couple of series that many people will know you for, one from Netflix, one from British TV, and a film from that as well. But let's go through the staples of things here. I've got down CBBC, Bad Education, Horrible Histories, Afterlife, and one that threw me off, Magic Mike.
Yeah. So when you really crack into my IMDb, there's some stuff in there.
Which I definitely right. Is that
One of these things is not like the others.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't remember you doing that one. But yeah, okay. So let's talk through your career over the last 12 years. How on earth did you get into the world of acting? Now, I know that's a really open question, but what my question is really is, was it something you intended to do or you stumbled across it?
Okay, so the first thing to point out, I think it's very important, is that, and I always remind people of this because it's very important. My family are not an acting family.
Right.
Like, I'm the first bard / performer in the family. So I had no idea the route in.
Yeah. So you didn't get a leg up?
No, but yeah, but like also I just didn't know how.
Yeah.
One would do that.
Yeah.
So sort of, like, I was born and then smash cut to like age 11. This is when I started doing drama at secondary school as like an actual subject.
Yeah.
Fell in love with it straight away. I was like, oh hello, good at this. So I started doing shows and stuff. Like first show I did was at that school. It was oh god. So it was. I hate saying this because there's always a follow-up question.
Right.
So it was Snow White.
Right.
And I played Gustav the scientist.
Mm-hmm. No. You
Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting read on the text.
Yeah.
On the original Grimm Brothers text. But during that performance, I mistakenly take a bite of the apple.
Right.
And the script was basically takes the apple, collapses, nice and easy. And I hand that up.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I made that go on for a good 20-30 seconds.
Lay it on thick.
Choking and and then falling over, and then the audience laughed, and I was like, "Here we go."
Right.
That's the one.
I love that you remember that exact moment.
It was pivotal.
That is almost the pin drop. Oh wow.
It was pivotal. It was hearing the audience laugh was like, right, there we go. That's going to be my manna from heaven for the rest of my life. So then I just basically threw myself into like amateur theatre. There was the Essex group, shout out, Gary and Anne Sullivan. Gary, God rest him. Like I did show after show after show. Like I was every weekend, every minute of free time was just dedicated to just acting and improving my craft.
Wow.
Like I know, when people are teenagers and they're like, oh yeah, I went out and we had snowballs in the park. Like for me now, I was acting all the time.
It's paid off.
It's a miserable.
Well, yeah, but this is it's the work ethic you've got to put in. But whatever you want, whatever your end goal is, you put the work ethic in, and it obviously shows results. I can't believe that I didn't know this. Obviously, you're just telling me now. So I'm learning at the same time as you are that you were into Amdram.
Yeah.
My entire background, I grew up in a family of Amdrammers and still to this day do it. Do you know Caelds, Chelmsford?
Yeah, I very much okay.
Caelds, Young Gen. My mum and dad both have been in that all their lives. They both have taken part in shows for years and years and years.
So you, like me, there can't be a provincial theatre in this county unless you haven't trod the boards on.
Literally. I mean, I was never...
Headgate, Towngate, Palace.
Headgate, my dad's company, the Reject Theatre Company, do shows at all the time.
Right.
What? Okay.
Look at this.
Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? I haven't told him that we're doing this podcast, and he absolutely loves the series Afterlife.
He's going to flip.
Yeah, he will. He absolutely will.
Especially when he hears about my Vanya at the Headgate.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He's like, wait a fucking minute. I walked in the same room, the same four walls. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know you were over that way.
Oh yeah, no, all the time. So yeah, that's Essex group. So that was a thing that was going on. I was doing that all the time. Again, miserable.
Yeah.
But I was loving it. I was absolutely killing the game. Because, I mean, this is the thing that I've said all the time, which is that the only real way to learn how to act is to act. Like, you can read a book, but it doesn't...
No, of course.
Like, it's experiential. Like, you have to do it to get good at it.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. Anywho, we cut to... I always talk in the language of cinema.
Yeah.
We smash cut to, hard cut. So I'm heading off to university.
Right.
But just before that, Essex Group had set up... I guess you call it kind of like a cottage agency.
Okay.
Where the main thing was that because we were technically represented, we could get on the casting website Spotlight.
Okay.
It's a little bit different now. I think they're more stringent.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You can't just blag it like we did in the early 2010s.
It's $1,000 a month now. Yeah, it's something silly.
So we got on there, and but then the agency started to fold as people started to go all their separate ways, and I went off to university, Royal Holloway, to study drama and creative writing. I get a call sort of just at the beginning of the second term, so it's sort of January time. And they said, Anne called me and said, BBC Three Tiger Aspect have been in contact. They've got this sitcom. You want to audition for it? I was like, yeah, sure. So I go in, like, I know barely any prep. Like, I'd learnt my lines, but I was going through my grungy university phase.
Right, okay.
So, like, hair down to here, like, massive beard,
Yeah.
trench coat, and like, rocking up, still hungover probably.
Yeah.
And did the audition, then got a recall, and this is where I found out about Jack Whitehall's involvement. So I do a scene with him, and then boom, I get the part, and then a couple of months later, I'm on the set of Bad Education wondering what happened. And that was my first professional TV job. And then since then, I've sort of not stopped.
Yeah.
Except for a few times where I stopped. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get through those things. And they're so real and raw. I absolutely love them, as I mentioned to you earlier on. So in answer to the kind of black and white of it is that you were part of, you had management?
So again, like the management in this case was this sort of cottage agency.
Yeah.
And I did a great job. Like, you know, looking after my interests and making sure everything was hunky dory. It wasn't until like things really started to move with Bad Education that it became pretty obvious that I was going to need, because she was still running Essex Group at the time, which was, you know, a big commitment. Like, you know, they're putting on lots of shows. They had like a stage school and everything like that. She didn't have the time to focus.
Of course, on one person. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, it was necessarily something was going to have to shift. And it was after Series 2, because we got commissioned for Series 2 like midway through Series 1 coming out.
Wow.
Like this was the high point of BBC Three. Like,
so what, 2016?
This was so this is 2012. This came out.
Oh fucking hell!
And so like
time flies, man.
I know, right? So this is 2012. Bad Education Series 1 has come out in the autumn after we shot it in the winter and the spring. And after the second episode, we get commissioned for a second series.
Wow.
We'd already broken a record of like most people watching a thing on BBC Three at the time. Like, this was really fertile ground for BBC Three. This was when all sorts of stuff was happening. We held that record for 6 weeks because the next thing that came out straight after us, if you remember this, was Cuckoo. With Chris Davies, which broke that record.
Right, okay.
So BBC Three's in like a mad good place.
Like,
It's content all over the place, all kinds of ideas being thrown at the wall. Great stuff, really fertile, febrile time. So we get commissioned for a second series. We do it, and you know, I've had these conversations with them where it's like, what are we gonna do? And I get talking to a guy at the after party, one of Jack's mates, Marcus. Shout out to Marcus. He used to PA for an agent who worked at what was then Debbie Allen Associates, a guy called Michael Ford. Shout out to Michael. Yeah. He set up a little meeting between him and I, and when I walked out the meeting, I would now have professional representation.
Right.
I was with Michael Ford at DAA. I'm still with Michael now. DAA folded when was it? Maybe about 6 years ago.
Right, okay.
And the people because Debbie Allen basically went off to do something else. I think she's with creative artists now. Lost my train of thought. But all the people who were with DAA at the time then set up what became Hatch, as in the Hatch agency, which was sort of rebirth from the flames, sort of lots of eggs and phoenix imagery.
Yeah.
I remain with them now. Be 11 years.
Blimey.
Yeah.
And it's paying off.
It's paying off. You know, he's done all right out of me.
Yeah, but I mean,
made some money for the company.
Yeah, that's what's obviously key as well. And money makes the world go round. So Bad Education was your a flying start to what has been a really successful career to date. How? You get Bad Education, you become recognised in the streets. Yeah. Not really. So was that not? Because now I'd say, do you get stopped by people today?
So it happens infrequently. It happens more in my hometown, but that's because I'm something of a local hero, like the film Local Hero.
Yeah.
But like generally, I keep myself very low key. As people can see on the video, I'm carrying a beard at the moment, which really helps with not being recognised.
Yeah.
Because virtually all of the characters I've played have been clean shaven.
Right.
Because if you remove the beard, I suddenly lose 10 years.
Right, okay.
It's incredible.
A very young face under there.
Blessed with a baby face and cursed with really fast growing facial hair, which is such a shame. I'm a little hairy boy. But,
I didn't expect that comment. No, there you goes the caption. Little hairy boy.
There's going to be lots of little bon mots like that. Be ready.
I love it.
So yeah, like when Bad Education came out initially, I think it's worth remembering that it did well for a sitcom on a digital only channel. So like, you know, it wasn't BBC One, it wasn't BBC Two. This was very much a youth focused. I think 1 million people, maybe just shy of that, watched the first episode, which on the face of it is a lot of people. But
in comparison to other shows,
this is 1 million people spread out across all 4 regions of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of someone who's watched it actually being like near where I am is quite low.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I recognised you immediately as soon as you walked into that podcast place.
But this is after 12 years. I don't know if you would have done if this was.
I've been watching you for years, mate.
But if this was I'd just done Bad Ed, I don't know.
No, probably not. What would you say is the biggest thing? Would you say it's Afterlife?
It's almost certainly Afterlife.
Yeah.
Just because of the natural reach that Netflix has.
That's smashed some mad records, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was the most watched British comedy on Netflix at some point. I mean, the metrics are sort of tricky with the metrics of Netflix are sort of a bit tricky because they sometimes can be quite cagey about their viewing figures and things like that. So when they talk about a record, it's like, okay, but in comparison to what?
Yeah. Where are the numbers? But
you know, it seems to have resonated very well. So it demonstrates that. But yeah, in terms of that early stage of my career, it happened extremely rarely, which, to be honest, I was okay with. You know, I'm not a super gregarious person when I'm out and about. Like, you know, I could switch it on for the pod or for a live show or what have you. But generally, I'm fairly low key. Yeah. And like, I wasn't, because they don't teach you about any of this. Like, they don't prepare you for what happens when you have these sorts of encounters. So I used to dread them. Yeah. And like, you know, it was never because they were bad. They were never bad. Like, you know, what's been nice is that the sort of work that I've done has cultivated quite a nice fan base. Like, they're generally good people. So like, no one gets like aggy with me or whatever.
No, of course.
I hear things from like people, especially people like in soaps and stuff where they like play a villain.
Yeah, they get and, like, people can't make the distinction.
Really, this is one thing I've discovered. People really struggle with the concept of an actor not being the character they play.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest example of that is In Between is James Buckley.
Yeah, hugely. You know,
he cannot escape it.
A very slight and very demure individual who happened to play a gadabout. Yeah. But I mean, he's managed to convert that into an extraordinarily successful cameo career.
Yeah, I know. So, first guy to make millions off a cameo in the UK. I know. Crazy, isn't it? Are you doing cameo stuff?
Right, I'm doing cameo.
Is it good?
Yeah, well, my cameo is great. I'll tell you something about my cameo, right? Plug.
Yeah, please.
I'll tell you something about my cameo. I have the most competitive rates on the site. You can get me so cheap. Like, I have made it so that I am at the exact minimum amount I can be, where I can still actually make a bit of cash off of it. Yeah. Otherwise, cameo will just swallow the whole thing.
Of course, yeah.
I swear to God, if you've got 12 quid in your pocket, you can go on my cameo. You can give me 12 quid. I will do a video for you. It will be bespoke. It will be unique. It will have thought put behind it. There'll be a couple of jokes, couple of gags. I'm 5-star rated, mate.
Like, well, I don't doubt.
Yeah, no. People love me on that.
Yeah, well, do you know, that's kind of why I wanted you on here, to be honest with you. I was trying to get discount rates.
Yeah.
What are people asking you to do on there? Because obviously there's normally a target, isn't there? There's like we want this.
Generally, because, I mean, obviously with young Master Buckley, like, you know, a lot of people sort of want Jay. I mean, for my thing, I think I've cultivated enough of a thing where I'm sort of like separate from my characters, or just not well known enough to like it's usually fairly generic. Yeah, like, it'll be sort of like your birthday greeting or a Christmas or a Valentine. Occasionally, I get an amusing one where they ask me to roast someone.
Okay,
I'm very confused because I've never sort of
where's that come from? Yeah,
someone who like, not even my characters are particularly
no.
So I don't. So usually what I do is I have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, of course.
If you ask me for a roast video, I will make an absolute Horlicks of it. Like, it will be. It's a lot of fun.
I might have to get these done. I might get these done for some people. My dad's birthday's coming up.
Because they'll give me some stuff, and like, I mean, I actually did this at the live podcast show.
Oh, really?
Because when I was doing crowd work, because like, you know, they give me bits and bobs to say, and I'm not a roast comic, so I usually just say, like, you know, they'll say, oh, he shat himself on a school trip or something. Right. And I'm like, oh, you shat yourself on a school trip. What's all that about?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the roast.
Done.
Yeah.
£12. Thank you.
5 stars.
Yeah. 5-star rated. Where's the link? Put it below.
Put it on the screen. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I joke, but yeah, it's a nice little, because I don't treat it as a particular moneymaker. I mean, if I wanted to charge more, I could, but then I don't see the need.
Yeah,
I more sort of treat it as like a tip jar. like, you know, because if you've watched and enjoyed my work and, like, you know, you like what I do and you like who I am or whatever, slip me 12 quid. You get a nice video out of it. And that keeps me in beer for a little while.
Yeah, I like it. I do like the concepts of platforms like Cameo. There's a few other ones as well that are helping people, actors, aspiring actors, be supported because coming on to some of the jobs that you've done in between acting roles, this is a very, very common thing.
Yes, it's a very difficult industry to be in. Like I've been all over BBC Radio Essex recently, talking about this.
Right, okay.
About the collapse of my beloved industry.
It's
broadly speaking, largely because most of us are freelance.
Right.
You know, we are self-employed contractors, so there's zero stability. And when it comes to like the whims and the movements of the industry, if it collapses, we all go down with it.
Well, this is the thing, you know, because it's your livelihood, it is your income. Obviously, there are things that we need to do in times and gap fillers, if you like. Cameo is a great little asset. Like you say, a tip jar. You mentioned previously on several different platforms that you were a pizza delivery at one point.
Yeah.
Which is a completely viable job to do because you can kind of pick it up when you want to pick it up.
Well, that was the idea.
Oh, really? And you got swallowed by it?
Yeah, largely because there was nothing else to do. Like, you know,
Right.
broadly speaking, the idea was, this would be good because I can work evenings, which would keep my days free for auditioning and stuff like that. And then there were no auditions.
Right.
So I had rent to pay. So
Yeah.
it was like, right, well, tell you what, I'll take every hour God
You've
sends,
got, yeah.
and I'll just do this. And I mean, in the end of it, this was, let me get my facts straight here. This was mid 2018.
Right.
So I just finished on Afterlife Series 1.
That's so crazy.
But if you got to remember, in Series 1, I was in it for 90 seconds.
Yeah, the recorder episode, right?
So, you know, I put some recorders up my nose. I don't think I was on set for longer than 2 hours.
Right, but I mean, Ricky Gervais notoriously has short shooting days anyway.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's been on the Tim Lovejoy's Sunday brunch couch, has expressed the idea that he finishes work at 4.
Yeah.
So for context, because that sounds weird, for context, an average shooting day, cameras will start rolling at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
And they'll wrap at 7 in the evening.
Yeah.
And he'll go 8 till 4.
Yeah.
So it's a full 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's just gone. And if we're still working after 4, something's gone dreadfully wrong.
Yeah.
And what's nice about it is that the cast and crew get to do this mad thing, right? They get to like see their families.
It's crazy.
I know, right? It's mad. There's this concept of like having a social life outside of work.
But it becomes a desirable piece to be part of. I mean, I can only imagine, especially because of the success Ricky Gervais has done in every aspect, especially on Netflix. I mean, he's breaking records with his stand-ups as well. It becomes a desirable place to work. And obviously, he's worked with some mega names over the years with extras and all these different,
people want to do the job.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, the Gervais rub is great, but also they're genuinely nice places to work. That's not to say that other places aren't. And, like, you know, I've been fortunate in my career to not have, like really actively bad sets to work on.
Yeah.
But you hear horror stories.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because, you know, again, money is often a key factor as time runs out and tempers are getting frayed.
Yeah.
But like he's the thing with Ricky Gervais is that because he was broadly across all of the grown-up jobs, so you know he's not only a star but he wrote and directed.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly what he wants. There's no argument at the top about coverage or you know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
He's got his plan and he will not deviate from it.
Yeah.
And there's never any question that there will be any deviation. It's shot economically, it's shot quick and simply.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's no, like, you get some directors that like, want to put their, you know, it's fair enough. They want to put like their stamp on it. Or
of course,
like
yeah.
Like really cool tracking shot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're going to get this really nice insert or this special. And the first assistant director will be standing there going, yeah, that's great. We've got half an hour to finish this scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're not going to get the crane out.
No, one of my favourite things I've seen is, especially one of the most popular clips online, is the Afterlife Series 1, 2 and 3 individual videos of the outtakes. Yeah. Mainly from Ricky Gervais just pissing himself laughing.
Yeah, I mean, some will say more than I would like. Some would say that's the best work I've ever done.
All right. Right. Cheers, guys.
You know, me failing to do my job correctly.
But, mate, it's so fucking funny. But in those clips, what I recognise, is that there was a clip with the what's greying comes in pints, right? This clip, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's an incredibly hilarious clip.
Pretty sure you can work it out, though.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. There's Ricky Gervais is playing his character sat at his desk whilst directing that shot, and he just goes, "I'll do it again." I just love how simple and easy and free-flowing that is.
He likes to just keep the camera rolling and see what we can find.
That's where comedy is.
Because more often than not, like, he pulls together a team of people who are good at thinking on their feet. So, like, you know, I did a lot of scenes with David L, who plays Brian Gittins, that joke.
That guy.
He's wicked fast.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for me, all I need do to succeed is just let him talk.
Yeah, and just balance it. Yeah.
I just got to sit there. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm the straight man in this scene. Not a problem. I will just rest here.
Yeah.
And rest easy, and just let him wind him up and let him go.
Whenever anybody says David L, all I can hear in my head is chuff chuff. That's all that's all I can hear. Yeah. Oh, it's.
You can always find the camera.
That's a really good impression. I suppose you should have one, really.
Well, yeah.
Mate,
okay.
The big question that everyone wants to know is talk to us about what it's like. We know it's good working with Ricky Gervais and the entire cast of that fantastic series. Obviously, you were in one episode for the first series, then you got recast for all episodes of the second.
Yes, which is what to tie these stories together, these disparate threads.
Yeah,
that is what pulled me out of the pizza delivery.
Yes, yeah.
It's literally went from one job to the next job.
Yeah,
just a year of pizza delivery in between.
Well, just a little jump between, you know.
That's a little bit. That's a little bit sling and slice.
But I guess the nice sling and slice is my favourite thing ever. What do you do? Pizza delivery? No, I'm a slice slinger. I think that's what you should name it. If you're a pizza delivery person, then slice slinger is your new title.
Feels a bit sandwich.
Sounds cool, right? I'm a slice slinger.
Yeah, like sandwich artist.
Like, yeah, true, very true.
It's like easy.
A pizza artisan deliverist.
Yes.
So the first series you did one episode, and I guess the upside of that is when you were doing the pizza delivery, that you would have never had a situation where somebody goes, have I seen you on TV?
I did over the course of that year. I told you I was busy.
Yeah.
I did in the region of 14,000 deliveries.
Fucking hell.
And would you like to guess how many times I was recognised?
Once?
Thrice.
Oh, yeah.
3 times.
What do you do? Yeah, listen. Industry's fickle.
It was just awkward.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you about education? It's like, yeah, I'll do this now. It's the £22, please.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for recognising me. But you owe 25 quid.
Thank you, by the way, for ordering tuna. That's great for the car.
Yeah. That's
you dick.
Yeah. That's it stinks in here now.
That used to be my least favourite. Who orders tuna?
It's not allowed. It's not legal. It shouldn't be happening. Tuna on a pizza, hot tuna, never. The only way tuna should ever warm up is when it's on a jacket potato.
Yeah, I've got strong opinions about canned tuna.
What other form of tuna is there? Tuna steaks.
There's the actual fish.
All right, fuck off. All right.
So it doesn't. They don't grow in cans.
Well, I don't know anything about this sort of thing. I do a podcast, mate.
Well, you should be. This is the sort of data points that will be good for future interviews moving forward.
I'm gonna do fish from now on. I'm gonna learn about fish.
Tuna's actually a fish.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, it's in the ocean, mate.
I thought it grew on trees in cans.
No,
So,
big as well, tuna. Don't know if you've seen a whole
yeah,
tuna.
I had. They're big old fuckers, aren't they?
Enormous.
You caught any?
No.
You ever gone fishing?
I went fishing once with my granddad. I'm not a fisherman.
No.
No, my granddad is an excellent fisherman.
Fly fishing or carp fishing?
Anything he wants, anything. He's
spear.
Harpoon. He's one of those preternaturally lucky cockneys.
Right.
He is. We've over the course of my many years of being alive, I've played Yahtzee with him hundreds of times.
Right.
And Yahtzee, as you know, is a game of chance.
Yeah.
It's rolling 5 dice. Like, you know, there's no. There shouldn't be, at least. I have never beaten.
I was going to say he's never lost, has he?
Never.
Yeah.
I remember once we went on a little family holiday down to the Norfolk Broads.
Right.
We were staying in a nice sort of like chalet / cabin that was literally like backed onto the river.
Nice.
So we went fishing, and like it was sort of like a row of these chalets.
So,
you know, there was a fair few people fishing. Genuinely, and I'm not making this up because there would be no point because it's a silly tale. It almost sounds like a fisherman's tale. But like he's there pulling in fish after fish after fish after fish. Either side of him, nothing.
Nothing.
And he's just there like, yeah, pull that out, yeah. Oh, I love fishing, mate. Yeah, I bet you do, mate.
Yeah, when you catch him, yeah.
Yeah, because that's all he seems to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my fishing story.
I do love a bit of fishing. I go fly fishing with my mate John every now and again. It's it's a great bit of fun to us.
I understand the appeal. I mean, like, I'm an avid watcher of Mortimer and Whitehouse Go.
Oh, such a good series.
Such a beautiful show.
Christmas special coming out soon.
Yeah.
At Christmas.
Yeah, well, you'd hope.
Yeah. I fucking otherwise they'd really fuck that one up.
My dream for that show is for them to get to the 52 episode mark.
Right.
So that they can just put an episode on every Sunday.
Yeah. They must be nearing it, surely.
Yeah, they're on series 7, so
they've got to be out, yeah.
So they do it in batches of 6, don't they? With a couple of 7 times 6. I'm not a maths guy.
Mm-hmm.
42.
There we go. That's all right. Yeah,
So 10 eps off. So another series and a half, and they'll be there.
Which I think is literally on now.
I was counting that series.
Oh,
series
okay.
7.
All right, well, fucking.
So 8. All they've got to do is 8 and 9.
Yeah.
And they're there.
10 to make it around.
Yeah, make it around, and then that's an ep every Sunday.
I don't mind that. We can have an omnibus.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
I don't mind it. Mate, I do love that. I think that's someone I'd love to work with. Well, I mean, either of them, but Whitehouse. He's incredible. Have you? Yeah. You prick. What have you? What have you worked on with?
You've done your research.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
This was Murder They Hope.
Right.
This was the first job that I did after the. Do you remember the novel Coronavirus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Yeah. So that happened, and that was my first job back. It was in the December of 2020, where like things were just tentatively like, starting to open. So it was So it used to be a series on Gold. I genuinely can't remember what it was called. It will come to me in a second. But it was Johnny Vegas and Sean Gibson.
Right.
Sort of doing kind of like they operated a tour bus, but it ended up being sort of like a murder mystery thing. It's like Murder on the Blackpool Express was the first one. So it used to be like features.
I've heard of it, but I love Johnny Vegas. I've never seen that one.
Good little show. So like they used to do like feature length ones, like hour and a half and everything like that. But then it got transferred into this series called Murder They Hope, which was just contained hour-long episodes.
Right.
I think possibly as a result of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Sort of shifting priorities.
Easier.
So yeah, we did that. It was Murder They Hope. It was a it was kind of like a Romeo and Juliet style thing, but with northern bakers.
Right.
And
okay.
Paul Whitehouse played my dad.
Right. Okay. Did you have to do a northern accent then?
Oh yeah.
Give us an example of your northern accent. I've proper fucked you up there, haven't I? Who does that?
I can. I mean,
can you?
Well, strictly speaking, I should be able to do it at a moment's notice.
That is your job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is technically my job. So, all right, I'll do this next bit in Northern.
There we go.
Right.
Do the rest of the episode.
Rest of the episode. All right.
I don't, mate. I'm joking.
Yeah, so if you want me to change the accent at any time, just let me know. Let me know. I'll do something different.
I love that, mate. What's your favourite accent to do?
That one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sits.
It sits nice because it's quite. It's not lazy, but like
it suits your voice.
It's gentle. You don't have to really reach for it. Like, there's a lot of accents where you really got to think about it. But with this, no, you just talk.
Just rolls off. What's your hardest one to do for you?
I mean, well, there's a few that I just genuinely cannot do.
Yeah.
Like, I think the big one for me, in sort of the terms of like the UK accent repertory, the one that I want to do but really can't is Geordie.
There's Jimmy Carr does a sketch about it, doesn't he? You've got to say a few words.
I think it's roller coaster.
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki, yeah. But
Pooper Scooper, roller coaster, Kawasaki.
That's it, Pooper Scooper. That was
Pooper
it.
Scooper.
And the thing is, I can imitate him doing that.
Yeah, but
that's not.
Yeah, if those are my lines, I've got it down.
Kawasaki.
Yeah.
That's never the.
That's about it, mate.
Yeah.
That's only from Ant and Dec.
Yeah.
TV legends.
Sort of copy them, but like it's hard.
Speaking of TV legends, obviously you've worked with some mega names. You just mentioned Paul Whitehouse.
Paul Whitehouse,
which is one of the greats of all time. Obviously Ricky Gervais, who's fantastic work for David Earl, and everyone in that Afterlife series. There's a lot of people that have since become and were previous legends.
Oh yeah,
like national treasures.
It was very much a Nash Treasure show.
Yeah,
like, there's especially in terms of sort of like British comedy.
Yeah,
I mean, if you actually look at the cast list of that show, it's kind of mental, really. Like you got Peter Egan,
yeah,
David Bradley. David Bradley's great. like and in sort of like the newsroom, you got Tom Baz,
Yeah.
you got Diane Morgan, Joe Wilkinson, like these are all legends,
Yeah, they are really are. Who was your? Oh, this is a bit of a big question, controversial. Well, who's your favourite to work with? Obviously, you're with.
I don't play favourites.
No, oh no. Who's your least favourite then? Right. No, I'm joking. I'll tell you.
Tom Baz. No.
Yeah.
No, again, I sort of. This is such a cop-out answer, but it is genuinely true. I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
In the sense that I've yet to encounter a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, none of them.
I am one.
None of them come across. No.
Well, that's what they say, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're unable to locate the dickhead
It's
in
you.
the workplace, it's you.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think you're going to end up becoming one of our national treasures as well. You're on the way already.
I highly doubt that.
I think you'll be surprised because especially after your performance in there, which was absolutely fantastic, I might add, really, really well done. Especially the second series, like how I know there's outtakes and it's just howling laughter, but how the fuck you work with David Earl on some of those scenes, I have no idea. There must have been 40, 50 takes.
Well, you've seen the outtakes,
yeah.
And so basically, what happens is, in the edit, they just cobble together anything that's usable.
Yeah,
like,
but it works.
Yeah,
it works so well.
Well, that's the sort of the beauty of the way Gervais shoots stuff. Again, very simple. Like he doesn't have to sort of sift through all these like crazy camera angles. It's usually just actually a lot like how we're shooting this. Actually,
yeah.
Like, and that's fine. Like it doesn't need to be because the life of the piece is in the characters and the dialogue and the interaction.
Yeah.
Like not that like using fancy camera techniques is like a crutch or anything.
No.
But like
it gets away the laughter.
For a sitcom, you don't need it.
No.
Say. Like you can shoot it in a very perfunctory way, which is fine and it works.
It works really well. Ricky Gervais is renowned. We'll get off the topic of Ricky Gervais soon, but he's renowned for working.
I swear to God, I come in for an interview about me, and all I got to say is Ricky bloody Gervais.
I know, but I mean that's your life now for the next couple of years.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, I think.
What's Ricky like? What's Jack like?
He's gonna get Jack White was another one I want to talk to you about as well. There's. Ricky Gervais is renowned for working with a lot of the same cast in lots of different things.
Sort of kind of like a repertory thing, like because one of these other skills that people don't talk about is that he's a low key really good casting director. In that he will cast people based on what he knows they can do rather than what he can what they can aspire to.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need to worry about the actors that he casts because he knows what they're fully capable of.
Yeah.
And doesn't need anything else from them. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. So when you get cast in this, you obviously have to meet Ricky at some point and prior to filming.
The first time I met Ricky was on set.
No way.
Yeah.
And what's the relationship with him now?
I mean, cordial.
Obviously, you're in love.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
I regularly go to his massive house and scrub his
Which
back
one?
in a tin bath.
Yeah.
He uses an old tin bath,
I've pictured that. Is he really?
It was cordial. Like I wouldn't say that we're friends because we're not. Like, but if I put it this way, if I needed to email him, I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
No.
Let's do it, Ricky. I want to do it again.
Listen, it's something else. But I know what you were about to go to with that question that you were sort of framing there. And what I will say, much as with everything in this industry, I can't rely on it.
No, of course not.
And I wouldn't want to put myself in a position where I think to myself that I am owed it. Because I am not.
No, I don't think that. And I also think you're a very, very modest person and you're real, which is very rare in that industry.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for me, it's worth doing that because it keeps you on a level. Because, especially my position in the industry, which is someone who's done pretty well, but I'm not in any way secure. If you start getting too big for your boots and start thinking that you're owed stuff and that you deserve these sorts of things, you're going to come a cropper pretty fast. Yeah,
well, this is it, and this is what I say. You're a very modest person. You're real and raw, and which is why I wanted you to come on because there's literally thousands of people that will see this and they will know that they're in the same boat as you. They want to become they're aspiring actors and so on and so forth. And I wanted you to come on to discuss like the real side of the message you have, which is, I saw you did this on another podcast, and I hope you don't mind me saying it. You said that you've been doing it for 12 years now. At the time, it was 10 years, and you've actually got no assets.
Yeah. Well, the Vauxhall Viva I mentioned?
Yeah.
The lease ran out on that recently, so I do own an asset now.
Well, fucking hell. There it is.
I own a rubbish car.
It's not right, but it does. But
I own a car whose value halved when I drove it off the lot.
that's a bastard, isn't it? What colour is it?
Red.
Of course it is. I actually could have guessed that. I don't know why. I just got the
I've
feeling.
got red car energy.
Yeah, you have got red car
I've
energy.
only ever owned red cars.
I knew. I could have guessed that.
My car history is Vauxhall Viva, Ford Fiesta, Ford Fiesta.
Red.
All of them
Yeah.
All of them red. The first one was burgundy.
Oh, that's fair enough.
But
Then.
that's a red of sorts.
Yeah,
isn't
of
it?
course. It's type of red, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You've moved on.
Fucking leave it out.
Yeah.
It's like red.
So, speaking of the like, it doesn't matter that you haven't got assets. It's not what I'm trying to measure these things by. It's not a way to measure it either. But the point of the matter is, the reason you mentioned that topic in a different podcast or different platform was because you've done something that people would normally say and have said to you in the past, like Bad Education, Afterlife, whatever it might be, feature films, and gone, well, you've fucking done. You made it.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's a whole different kettle of fish.
It's one of those situations where the way I always describe it, if you looked at what I'm paid on, like, say, per hour, it's really good money. I'm not working consistently.
No, this is the thing.
That's the issue.
You know.
So, like, you know, it's good when the going is good, but when the going is not good, it's really bad.
And there's gaps.
A good case in point for this was the back half of 2022 into early 2023 was the best time of my career.
Right.
This was at a time where I was doing Horrible Histories. We were doing 2 series back to back, so that was a 13-week shoot, lovely and long.
Nice.
While doing that, I did the Bad Education reunion for a Christmas special for BBC Three.
Yeah.
And started work on Boat Story for BBC One.
Right.
So I was here, there, and everywhere, constantly working. I didn't stop at any point.
Which is fantastic.
For when we were doing Horrible Histories and Boat Story concurrently, I love telling this story because it's just sort of mad. I'd wake up on a Monday morning, Premier Inn in Hayes and Harlington,
right,
in West London. I'd go into work for Horrible Histories, get all made up, get all the wigs done and everything like that.
The cone head.
Turn out, of course. Turn out 3 or 4 sketches. Then de-rig, this would be at 7 when cameras were out. Dash across town. Get to the central London. Hop on a train. Go all the way up to Leeds. Crash out in a hotel in Leeds. Wake up. Do a whole day on Boat Story. Then once I finish Boat Story, jump back on a train, come back down to London, back over to Hayes to wake up the next morning to do Horrible Histories. It was mental.
That's exhausting just hearing about it.
Burning the candle at both ends, but like as you sat there on a train, like spacing out on your 2 hours sleep, just going, no, it's good to be busy though. It's good to be busy.
Well, this is it, you know, and obviously that will keep you going for a certain amount of time.
Which was good, because then on to the next point. Once I finished Boat Story, at sort of the March, April 2023, this would have been, no work at all.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely dried up. And so at that point, I was keeping myself alive with like little voiceover bits here and there, the cameo, and like, you know, basically the proceeds of what I'd earned previously. But yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Well, I mean, there is, but it's nothing you can do to affect.
No. I think that the most frustrating thing I would imagine is that you've done some major names in successes, and you just be like, well, what's next then, you know?
Well, again, like it's key not to feel like you're owed anything.
Of course, yeah.
So,
You've
like,
got to keep pushing.
But you do sort of think to yourself, well, that should have been a stepping stone. Like, you know, I was on a primetime BBC One drama that got in front of a lot of people. Yeah. And a lot of people liked it, but that it doesn't matter because what was happening broadly in the rest of the industry meant that nothing else could come from it. Yeah. So, I mean, I've talked about this at length elsewhere if you've seen any of my stuff, but like broadly speaking, the reason why there was such a broad collapse in 2023 that continued into this year is manifold. But the key things would be the cost of living crisis. If you wanted to mount, say, a pilot for something that would cost maybe, I don't know, £300,000, that's now £750,000, and people don't want to pay that.
No, of course, yeah.
Brexit has fucked us in many ways, like specifically for working on the continent, where a lot of advertising happens. Yeah, and there's a lot of money in adverts. But they're less likely to use UK-based talent because that requires a visa. Yeah, so they're more likely to use an English speaker on the continent as opposed to one from the UK. Because, of course, yeah. Again, I can't blame them for that.
No, why would you? Yeah,
a visa adds additional expense,
of course,
additional admin, like,
and it's ag, isn't it?
It's yeah. And why would you do that? So that was happening. Then, of course, there was the SAG-AFTRA strikes in the States, which shouldn't affect the UK, but it does.
Of course.
Because big Hollywood studios love using us. Like our studios over here are some of the best in the world. Our crews are the best in the world, and so they love using us because why not? Like, you know, we've got Pinewood, we've got all sorts, like just the best. Like we're the best in this industry.
Yeah,
like, absolute top standard quality. But because the SAG-AFTRA strikes happened, all of that work vanished, so that all went away. Then, in addition to that, it's just sort of everything else, like the end of the pandemic. I mean, obviously, pandemic isn't finished. Stay safe out there, guys. But like once we got back to work, there was a backlog of 9 months to a year where nothing had been made, and so a load of money was thrown into making all this stuff, which was great for a while.
Yeah.
But that only works in the short term.
Yeah.
Because once you've done that, you're now out of money and out of ideas.
Well, and this is basically, obviously, these are more recent events, but this is ongoing. There's always something that's going to hit you down.
Yeah, and I think the industry would have been fine if it was maybe just one or two of those things. But because all of it happened at once, everything collapsed. Yeah. And yeah, as I said, like we're all self-employed contractors. So if there's no work, there's no income, and there's no protection for us. Like,
do you see it getting back on the old feet it was on?
It's trending upwards.
My worry with this sort of thing is that obviously everyone's kind of, I hate using this term, but kind of hit rock bottom. So, you know, it's been tough for everyone. So that means that companies can offer less money.
They can, but they won't.
I fucking hope not.
I mean, the tricky thing, because the way I would put it is that, like, I've had more auditions or self-tapes. We don't really do auditions these days. But I've had more self-tapes in, say, the last 3 months than I had in the whole of 2024 leading up to that.
So there's more jobs around.
So it's trending upwards,
which
is good. My issue, and one that I have brought up before, is that some people not only hit rock bottom, they went below. And they have quit the industry. I did a TikTok where I spoke about this, and I got chatting with a guy who DM'd me to say, like, you know, this is happening for crew as well. So this guy is a gaffer,
right?
Basically does all the electricity and stuff on set. He'd been at that job for 35 years, and he was quitting and going just into like commercial electrician work because he was like, I love the job, love the thing. I can't afford to sustain this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, let's think about that, how that actually affects the industry. He's a gaffer, so he has a team. That team is now cut loose. A man with 35 years of experience, gone, and he's not coming back. So that is a huge net loss. The assets you mentioned earlier on, people love working with us. He is one of those assets. Yeah. We start losing them hand over fist, it's game over. Yeah, and my fear, and again, things are trending upwards and things are hopefully going to right themselves because they sort of need to. But my broad concern is if this keeps happening, if we keep having this brain drain, then eventually we're sort of going to sleepwalk off a cliff. And there's been some chunterings from the new government that, like, you know, something may happen to improve things, but it's at the moment it's just words. So yeah, as usual, it's just words. You know, it's a shame, but they're better words than what the previous administration was saying, of course, which is, you know, good. Yeah, well, yeah, of course, yeah, but excuse me. What's looking forward for yourself, right? In an ideal world, what are you looking? Where's the next steps for you? Obviously, you've got things that you sadly can't necessarily talk about, but that's fine. But what's your next goal? Are you looking to get more series? You're looking to create your own projects? What's next? So, I'm not really a goal-oriented person. You can't be in this industry because, like, if you start setting up concrete goals, like you're gonna fail. Yeah. Because again, so much of this is outside of your control. So broadly speaking, my goal is and always has been just keep doing this. Like, you know, I'll take whatever work's offered. Like, you know, this is very important actually because every opportunity, you know, every piece of press can work for you. So you're represented by who at the moment, sorry? Michael Ford at Hatch Talent. Hatch Talent. I'm also represented by Meet the Joneses. They're my voiceover agency. So if you want me to do a voiceover, that's the people to talk to. But if you want to get me on camera, you want to talk to Hatch. Yeah. Continue. Yeah. No, I love it. This is what the platform's for. And Cameo as well. Is it just Ethan Lawrence on Cameo? Yeah, Ethan Lawrence. Yeah. Just go on there. And there's my horrible face, and I'll do a birthday treat for your mum.
Well, fucking hell. I don't know, they did those on Cameo as well.
There's very little I won't do for 12 quid.
Fuck's sake. Right, okay. A question for those that are watching now that are aspiring actors that want to do what you've done. Now, you mentioned earlier on that you kind of almost stumbled into the industry because you were represented by what was an agency but wasn't an agency, you know, Essex Theatre Group?
Essex Group, it was called.
Essex Group.
I genuinely... Oh! The agency was called Aspire.
Aspire?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Doesn't exist anymore, though?
No, defunct.
Right, okay, cool. But it did you some great things.
Yeah, I was their only client for a while.
But they did well, so maybe they should pick it up again, you know? So that was the entry point for you, and you just kept going. You kept plugging. If anyone's watching this right now that has the same outlook that they want, you know, they want to achieve and have the same mentality as you, what are your top tips for somebody that's in this? Obviously, without just going there, just keep pushing.
Okay, well, first of all, don't. That's me. Don't get into it. This is me being nakedly territorial.
Right. Yeah. Fuck off.
You stay away.
Yeah.
Coach, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Let me have the part.
You'll hate it.
Let me hoover up James Corden's offcuts. Be visible is a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, again, we sort of touched on this earlier, which is that in order to get better at acting, you've got to act. And, like, you know, keep plugging, yeah. But, like, do stuff. Like, actually build up a resume. Like, there's all sorts of things you can do. Like, there's plenty of fringe theatre you can do. I mean, it's even something like, I mean, we spoke about this earlier, but, like, you know, little fringe events like not the podcast festival specifically, but there's things like that going on all over the place. So like, if you wanted to scratch something and put something together, do that. I mean, in terms of getting into TV, it's really hard. But I always say that I can't really give advice. I can only give anecdote. Yeah, I know how I did it, and I did it I did it by being jammy. Like,
yeah.
You know? So it's sort of hard. I wouldn't know how to start now.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know how to start then. Like, you know, my whole thing back then was like, oh, I'll get this degree and then presumably something will happen. Yeah. And I was just winging it.
It fucking worked, didn't it?
Well, yeah, but like, it shouldn't have.
How much of that degree would you... I know the answer to this already, but how much of that degree would you say is your success in your acting so far?
Oh, no. No.
If somebody's saying, should I go and do a drama degree or should I not, will it change anything? This is a bad question to ask. I'm so sorry. What would you say?
Well, no, it's an experiential thing. Like, you know, I got a lot out of my degree, even though like a lot of it was theoretical, and like, you know, sort of more teaching dramaturgy rather than acting. Yeah, it was all invaluable knowledge, and like, you know, not only that, but like a lot of the extracurricular stuff that I did there ended up being really valuable to me as an artist. Yeah. So like I joined the improv group there, and in my third year I was their president. Yeah. And doing like improv twice a week for 3 years teaches you valuable skills that I then later parlayed in Afterlife. Yeah. So these things are very important. Like, especially sort of like an arts degree, like it's a really fertile atmosphere to like learn stuff and make connections and things like that. Like, you know, my best mate Ollie, shout out Ollie. Like, he's one of the most talented musicians I've ever met, and he's recently put on a musical that he co-wrote. Oh, really? Literally, like a theatre in Balham in London. Oh, okay. And it's that sort of stuff. Like, you know, he's making stuff, and if you're able to make those sorts of connections with people at that sort of age, especially that sort of really, because you know, when you're 19 and 20 and 21, God, everything. Do you remember all the emotions you felt? Yeah, mine were a fucking mess, mate. Honestly, well, we all were, but like, you know, everything's so intense all the time. Yeah, and like you can really sort of get stuff from that. Like, I don't. While the actual certificate, the actual piece of paper that I have for my BA Honours second class upper, just saying, yeah, 2-1,
fancy pants.
While that has not materially got me work. The things that I learned both from the course and from the stuff that I did there, I directed my first show at university. Oh, really? Yeah, I directed 2 plays and a musical. Stuff that I would never have had the confidence to do otherwise.
But you had the skill to do it.
Well, I learned on the job because I had the opportunity to try. How much
is natural talent? How much is actually taught?
Oh, I mean, I am hugely gifted. I won't lie. Yeah.
Fucker.
No, I mean, I joke, but like, for the longest time, I felt like an absolute imposter doing what I do. And it only really, like, within post-pandemic, really, where I actually started thinking to myself, do you know what? I'm actually a really fucking good actor.
You are.
Like, I'm really good at what I do.
But I don't think that can be taught. I think you can teach how to bring those out of somebody.
For sure, but like I think teaching part of acting teaching is experience. Like, you know, I didn't necessarily get taught anything doing the shows that I did in my teens, but I learned a lot.
Yeah, no, 100%. But you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, hugely. Like, you learn who you are as a performer, and like, you know, what your skills are. Like, you know, my skills have always been comedy, and like as a director, I'm very didactic. I'm very keen on words. I'm very keen on like how sentences are constructed. Like whenever I'm doing like a self-tape or anything like that, and I'm kind of self-directing, I make reams of notes.
Yeah.
On my script, like literally just like, okay, maybe try this with this intonation, or maybe weight this syllable. But I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
But that's the key to it. The irony being, we discussed stand-up comedy, and you'd done it for 8 years, right? Yeah. And packed it in because you'd personally thought you were no good at it.
Yeah.
It's
a different skill set. Like I was good at the performing aspect of it, but in terms of like crafting and sculpting a routine, that's something that I really struggled with. And it just never coalesced. I was never able to bring form and function together.
Yeah.
But then, like, I wrote, one of the plays that I directed was my own, and I was really happy with that. So, I mean, I haven't written in ages, and it's really bad because, like, part of my degree is writing.
Right. Lazy.
But you know, it's just what it is sometimes. Like, you know, I when I put that thing up and on TikTok, and a lot of people were saying, well, you know, why don't you try and write your own thing? And like, my thing was like, I'm not sure if you listened to what I said in the video. No one's commissioning anything.
Yeah, it's tough. But
also, the sort of the corollary to that is also the fact that I know writers. I know properly gifted writers, and they can't get a fucking look in either.
Well, this is the tough thing. Also, why would you compete with them? Is it potentially an option to work with some of the previous people you work with?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, it'd be a nice opportunity, but again, it's what you're able to create within the system that we have, and at the moment, that system is very closed. I would like it to be more open.
Yeah. But do you know what I'd love to see? And I know this kind of loops back around again, so forgive me, but I'd love to see a little spin-off of you and David Earl.
No, you wouldn't.
Why?
No. I always have to temper people with this. You actually don't want that.
Why not? I think it'd be fantastic.
The reason why it works is because it's counterbalanced by everything else.
Yeah, true. But obviously there could be other characters in that series that counterbalance it.
Well,
look at this country.
Then you might as well just make another series.
Well, I mean, if it's getting commissioned,
it's not.
Anyone interested? You know, there could be someone.
It's you can have. I said when people say like, you know, is going to be another Afterlife, and I'm like, no. And you can't do that again, I don't think. Well, because it's done, isn't it? Because they're like, oh no, but it was so good, and I'm like, yeah. The reason why it was so good is because it had a definitive end.
Yeah.
Like it was satisfying.
It's funny you say that. I had a conversation. I can't remember with who now. Yesterday it was someone else. But the films and series recently are so shit. A lot of them in public opinion because they don't have a definitive end, and I think that's why people are giving shit to the Joker #2.
Well, I do.
Yeah, because it doesn't have a definitive end. Same with, is it Morbius?
Morbius. It's Morbin time.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that's about. I've not seen it, but apparently I haven't seen them, so this is not first-hand information. But I've been told. Have you seen these?
Nah.
I've been told that they don't have definitive ends, and this is probably the problem. It's just like, well, that was it.
Well, that's sort of the curse of the modern blockbuster and also the modern TV series, in the sense that any writer or producer with any sense of self-preservation about them will keep it open so they can get commissioned for another one.
Yeah, but that's just greed, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
Gervais didn't leave the series open for another 2.
Yeah, but
I know he knew it, but
I mean, Gervais is fine.
Yeah, I guess. But he let's not forget though, he is working not for himself. He doesn't need to do anything.
No, he doesn't.
The stand-ups is because he loves stand-up comedy, I'm sure. It makes him millions. He doesn't need any more money. I'm sure he'd say that himself. I'm pretty sure he has said that himself. And I love his modesty with it as well. He says, I'm fucking rich. What it is what it is. But those series, Extras, Afterlife, everything he's ever done, including all the other actors and other shows around that, are not for him.
No, but he's been very fortunate and also very skilled to put himself into a position where he can afford to do that.
Yeah, of course.
My argument to you in this case is if you're a young writer on the up, who doesn't have that sort of safety net, but has a series idea and is like, shit, if I leave it open, I can maybe get commissioned again. That's sort of the level where I'm at with acting.
Yeah, of course.
Which is that I'm sort of like, okay, great. Next thing though.
I need consistency. It does make sense because that's what
it's a great. We all dream that we can reach a point where we can go. Like now, I can just work for me. Like Daniel Radcliffe can.
Yeah.
I'm a big admirer of Daniel Radcliffe because I like the fact that he made his money and now does mad shit.
Yeah. What was the horse one?
Equus.
That was fucking mental. That was when you first went, oh, okay, he's off on one. He's going.
Have you seen like some of the films that he's done though?
Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
That's fucking mental.
There's a guy with gun sellotape to his hands. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Great. Nice.
Commission it.
Good work, Harry.
Yeah. Oh, you bastard. Christ alive. Okay, let's kind of focus a little bit into your future. Now, this is such an open-ended question, so forgive me. But what is next for you? And I'm looking for you to sort of suggest what you'd like to be next. I'm not necessarily talking about jobs, but you've obviously overcome some serious hurdles. What's the next step for you?
Well, I mean, I've just finished on Horrible Science,
which is
a spin-off of Horrible Histories.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. That's all good.
That's going BBC, is it?
BBC as well, yeah. So, I mean, we've still got... I mentioned doing those 2 series of Horrible Histories back-to-back, so there's still a whole series of that still to come out.
Right, okay.
So that's all very exciting. I'm happy doing children's telly at the minute. Like, you know, Horrible Histories has been such a boon for me and, like, such a fun job. I mean, it's mad. Like, I dread to think how many words I've learned and forgotten from that show.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's...
But you're also...
Make a man mentally ill.
You are... I know this is going to sound so bad, but you are actually creating a new audience for yourself because this younger generation are going to grow up knowing you. When we were younger, we're the same age, so we'll pretty much... who do we grow up? Dick and Dom.
In the Bungalow.
In the Bungalow. They're DJing the world now. They're flying around the place. But
good.
You know, exactly, yeah. But these are people that we would look up to now. They're legends, you know. They're not really doing much anymore. They're fantastically talented, don't get me wrong, but they're not doing much anymore. So you're actually setting yourself up to have a young audience to carry on going.
Well, that's the hope. I mean, like, you know, again, you can never rely on these things. And I am reliably told over and over and over again that we will never be as good as the original cast and should stop trying.
That's so kind.
I know. Lovely people.
Do you know what this reminds me though? I fucking love your responses on TikTok to some people. There was a guy that commented, this is a while ago now, and he said, you're irrelevant. And you came back so calm, concise, demure, and smart, and just went this. So I am relevant.
One of the things that I always remind people whenever they do stuff like that is that I will use your comment to make a video that I will monetize.
Yeah, 100%.
So come at me if you want, but I'm going to make money off of your bollocks. So,
yeah, but
you're not going to see penny one, mate.
Yeah. But I loved it because I think when he asked this, you were just released Afterlife 2. You were talking about Afterlife 2.
It might have been a bit later then. That might have been Boat Story.
Maybe. I can't... No, because the comment was on the cover of Afterlife.
Oh, it'd be Afterlife 3 then. That's why I joined TikTok.
Right.
That was pandemic.
Yeah, and it was like, you're irrelevant. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Show in the world at the moment.
Yeah, literally #1 on Netflix worldwide.
The thing is, it's fine. Like, you know, people, online people.
They just want to say shit, don't they?
A lot of people. One of the other things I always like to say to them is, look, can we just be honest? If you met me in the street, you'd ask for my picture.
Yeah.
So, easy.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah, calm it down.
But let's just lower the temperature a little bit.
There's no need for it, yeah. And they've never got a profile picture, have they?
Never. One did once, but it was a footballer. Didn't know which one. I don't know football.
No, me neither, mate. It's you and me in the same boat there. A big question for you now.
Are we moving off the future one?
Sorry, you hadn't actually finished. Yeah, sorry.
I was not even close to done.
No. Go on.
I was quite close to being done.
No, sorry. Yeah, go on.
I mean, how best to phrase this? I mean, it sort of ties back into what I was saying before, at the risk of repeating myself. Just sort of keep doing this. Like, if another opportunity comes up, great. Like, you know, it was great doing Boat Story because that was like my first like dramatic role. Yeah. Even though I was broadly comic relief in that, you know, I still got a lot of dramatic stuff to do. I've got a lovely little scene with Craig Fairbrass.
Oh, really?
Lovely little scene. Go and watch this after this.
I haven't actually seen it yet. I will watch it.
It's really good.
Oh, really?
It's really good.
I love that. So Fairbrass is the national treasure as well,
yeah,
you know?
national treasure. I'm always working with Nash Treasures, mate.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. You're going to become, if not, you're already on the road to becoming a national treasure yourself.
I'm happy to just facilitate other national treasures. That's me.
But that's how national treasures become national treasures.
Treasure fluffer, in a way.
Oh my god! Thankfully, this is not a PG episode. Google fluffer if you don't know what it is, kids. You can't watch this. Do not Google that.
By the way, anyone who's here because of horrible histories, you have to leave now.
I didn't even fucking think of that, but I do turn the 18 thing on YouTube, so you'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
It's fine.
No one watches my stuff anyway.
No, it's fine. You can say cunt on this episode, doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, like, I mean, I've sort of been keeping my fingers in other pies as well. I mean, like, I'm sure if anyone's been looking at my Instagram, it's mainly made up of my professional wrestling stuff now.
Okay.
So for those in the know, I got friendly with a guy who runs a local promotion. Shout out about Adam Paris and CXW, based out of Braintree.
Yeah.
I went to one of his shows, funnily enough, with the the Fat Boys.
Right.
Bring
Okay.
that all full circle.
Yeah.
And I got to chatting with him, and I was like, look, if there's anything you like want me to do, like, or anything I can do to, like, promote the show or anything like that, like, let me know, because, like, if my meager fame can get one bum on one seat, then it's probably worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
And he was like, no, don't worry, mate, I've got an angle for you. And so at the very next show, I ring announced the match, interfered during the match, became the Extreme Champion, lost the belt almost immediately.
Of course.
And now I run the greatest faction in CXW, the VIPs.
That's fucking awesome. So we'll plug it. Where's the next one?
Gotta get the dates. It's in November, I know this for sure. It's at the Institute in Braintree.
Right.
It's an 18+ show, so bear that in mind. All death matches all the time. I will be in the corner of my large cowboy friend, the Outlaw Tim Strange.
Right.
Who will be defending our CXW Extreme title against Iceman. So that'll be good. It's a Texas death match, so this
is another world to me. I love this shit.
There will be barbed wire, there will be light tubes, and it's going to get pretty crazy pretty soon. If you're not 18+, on the 21st of December, come on down to Sausage Slam at the Braintree Sports and Health Club, which is our family show. Well, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but no doubt it will involve my large cowboy friend, the Outlaw Tim Strange, and our belt.
Just want to question something there. Under 18s are allowed to go to that?
Yeah.
And it's called?
Sausage Slam.
Cool.
In the words of Adam Paris, whenever he's promoting his stuff, beer, sausage, wrestling. That's what it's all about. Right.
Sausage Slam. Okay.
And sausages are a huge part of the CXW brand.
Yes.
What's nice is that they've got, I mean, this is just genuinely true. They've got good relationships with some local food trucks and, like, alcohol and stuff like that. So the events are fully catered. So, like, you can come along to the wrestling, watch the stuff, and then head outside, get yourself a hot dog, get a nice sausage, get yourself some beer. Like, it's a proper night out. I am a heel, as they say, a villain, within CXW, and I will destroy that company from within. Just don't get me wrong. I will do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm nasty Hollywood Lawrence.
Yeah.
But
Hollywood Lawrence.
Yeah.
Is that what they call you?
Yeah.
I love that shit. I love it.
But, like, genuinely, it's a great night out. And
it sounds like a laugh. It's something different, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what I love about it, especially at the family shows, is that the kids get so into it.
Of course, screaming and shouting, whatever.
I am of the opinion that professional wrestling is modern day Shakespeare.
Well, it is. I do. That's going to be a lot of people going to, how the fuck did you? No, but it is the newest art form that is loved by many generations.
And not only that, it's simple. It's heightened characters. It's heroes versus villains. It's blood feuds. It's like, everyone competing for a belt. Like, it's really simple stuff, basic storytelling, which appeals to everyone.
It's kind of friendly cage fighting, isn't it? UFC for fun.
Yeah, it's just that in this one, we're not trying to hurt each other.
Well, by the watch of some of these UFC fights recently, neither are they. But I won't get into that.
I can't speak to that.
No, yeah, I'm not sort of kicking off anyone there because.
Yeah. By the way, this is just so you know, this is an actual message from the Dash. He'll have any of you.
Yeah, I'll take you on. I'll do it. Come on, it. I've just realised we started this by saying where we were. I'll be all right.
Just off Marsham Street.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, lock the doors. It's not live. I don't know. I'm cutting this bit out.
It's got
No, I know. Pat, my editor, will leave it in. Cheers,
so
mate.
much of this is going to get cut.
No, it's all staying in, and we're all fucked. 2 more questions for you, and then we're going to get onto the Dash book, which I haven't explained to you yet, but I will explain to you very, very shortly.
I like things being sprung on me.
Yeah, this is a Dash book. Sign your life away.
I love surprises.
Yeah. So my biggest question to you really is, what is your favourite obstacle over the last 12 years of your career that you've overcome? Now, that's a mega question, I know. But if there's anything in your forefront of your mind that you've overcome and you're proud of yourself for, what would that be?
Beating imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big deal. Like, you know, I am an anxious man. And like, I think partly as a result of lots of things.
Yeah.
I'd say principally because I don't know anyone in the industry. I
Yeah.
don't have any in there. I was educated to comprehensive, and you'll be amazed how little that comes up
Right.
in television. I won't name the show, but there was one time we were traveling down in a unit car, so it's like a big sort of people carrier.
Yeah.
From unit base to set, and there was I think six of us lads in the car, and we found out just by talking that I was one of 2 of those 6 that didn't train at a drama school. And I was the only one who wasn't privately educated.
Fucking hell.
Which is sort of mad when you...
Do you think that's leg ups everywhere?
I think, well, I mean, I've spoken about this elsewhere, about the idea that no one is self-made.
Mm.
And, like, I have to recognise my own privilege in that, which is that I was fortunate enough to have a parent who was more than happy to schlep me all across Essex to go and do these different shows. And, like... if I hadn't had access to a parent that could A, drive, B, was willing to drive, and C, had the scratch to afford petrol.
Well, yeah.
Like, this is all, you know, I have to recognise my own privilege in that.
Mm.
But in addition, I also recognise that there are many stratas of privileges above me, including being privately educated, including being from a legacy family and things like that. So this is all factoring in. And then also generally the fact that I just didn't rate myself for the longest time.
But you do now.
I do now. I recognise that, if anything, the fact that I had to do this on my own, and the fact that I was able to carve out, you know, a place in this industry without having someone bring me into it, and without anything like that, and then also the fact that I do keep getting hired, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah, I think you are. You're doing so well, and I think a huge credit to you for being so. I use the word modest loosely, but it's not just modesty, but you're real, you're honest. You know,
there's no point not being. I don't understand the world of acting in a lot of ways. And
yeah.
That's not really acting, actually. That's not fair. I don't understand the world of celebrity. I don't get it. I don't know why people wouldn't want to be real with people. I don't know why you'd want to pretend to have things be doing better than they are. Like,
it's stitched into a lot of people's idealism that it's fake it till you make it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, faking it's my day job.
Well, yeah, but the irony is exactly what you've got to do, you know?
Yeah, that's my job. Like,
yeah.
You know, if I'm outside of that, I mean, I'm not a schmoozer.
No.
You know, I don't go to celebrity parties, which in the case of some of them, I'm glad I didn't, because otherwise I might be taken for war crimes.
Didn't fancy a Diddy party?
Easy.
Yeah. It's 18 plus. It's okay.
But yeah, no, like that's not my bag. That's not my world. I'm really bad at networking. I imagine I probably would be doing a lot better if I was.
I think you're doing exactly what you've got to do, and I think everything happens for a reason, and I think it's all character building. Ironically,
I can't.
Excuse the pun.
Hey, come on. I mean, the thing is, I can't pretend to be something I'm not, which is probably why I haven't had much work recently. Hey. That was a gag from when I used to do my stand-up.
Right. And now it makes sense.
It's a good gag. I quite like that one.
Okay. Well, listen. It's been... I think we're going to have to do another episode at some point in the future, because there's a million things to cover.
Christ.
Yeah, I know, right?
I did.
Yeah. Well, let me see how you get on first. Yeah. Hopefully you do better than Joaquin Phoenix. Okay.
I've also played Napoleon. You know that?
Have you?
Yeah, I played him on Horrible Histories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you compare notes?
I didn't compare notes, but what I will say is that I think, personally, I got a lot more laughs.
Yeah. Right. Well, but your intention was for laughs.
Oh, yeah,
his intention wasn't for laughs.
Well, maybe you should think about that. Maybe Napoleon would have been better received if he cracked a gag or two.
Yeah, you fucking dull bastard,
yeah,
Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Yeah.
I'm coming for your throne, bitch.
Well, it hasn't got one anymore. Have you seen the latest headlines on it? I mean, this is slightly off topic now, but the latest headlines is it was intentionally bad.
I've seen that. I mean, I'm a big fan of confrontational art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of a movie that hates its fans and itself.
Isn't it funny how they said that once people reviewed it?
I mean, maybe, but like, it could genuinely be true. Like,
well, no, it's intentionally bad, but I don't think that was their original direction with it.
like I said, I like confrontational art.
Mm.
I like art that hurts me.
Hence
professional wrestling.
there you go. It all adds up. It all comes full circle.
When I get rolled up, when I get pinned for that belt, I am like dangerously close to a pile of thumbtacks.
We'll see, and the light tubes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been hit by one of them yet. I don't plan to be hit by one of them.
Well, they can slice you up.
I am simply a manager.
Right, I see.
I might pass Tim Strange a few light tubes in order to kill Iceman.
Hey, listen, if you're handing over the tools, you are an assailant. You are part of it. You're going to get smashed up as well.
I'm a VIP, mate.
Okay.
No one can touch me.
Very important. Right, okay. Right. Anyway,
hey!
This is the Dash book.
Right.
This is something that I haven't necessarily explained to you just yet, but just to give you the short of it, in this book, previous guests, including yourself and future guests, leave in their favourite motto, quote, or question for the next guest. So you're welcome to put whatever you wish in there. And whilst you do that, there'll be a nice dull soundtrack that plays over it. And you have all the time in the world to write in that. But before you do, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining me.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. I look forward to you coming on to the next one. I'm sure.
Yes, we do need to do a part 2.
I think it makes sense. But yeah, feel free to flick through all of those, get your mic out of the way, write down what you'd like. And yeah, thanks for coming on the Dash. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you very much.
You wanna fake it.